Mm-hmm.
And then like the guy goes, "Why don't you say anything to Tyson?" And he didn't even look at me or think. He just goes, "Tyson's earned the respect for me not to talk shit to him." Something like that. He was like.
I'm Jake Gatewood. You're listening to 1 Degree Podcast.
Oh, that was good.
Don't
You
be
guys can
nervous
pay me
now.
later.
Welcome in, yo. Welcome in. I'm Tyson. That's Kenny. Joined obviously by you just heard Jake Gatewood, the man, the myth, the legend. One of my good friends. We've trained together in the off season, and you met Kenny through AP, through the gym, all that good stuff.
Yep.
So
You had the
Yep,
pleasure
Kenny.
of meeting me.
Yeah.
yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for joining us.
Yep.
Sorry you have to deal with Kenny and his shenanigans, but yeah, man, appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me, man. It feels, I feel important now. Now that I made the podcast. So.
Well, don't let your head get too big, all right?
Yeah, man. So what are you up to now? How's everything going? You're a married man now. You got married a couple years ago, right?
Yep.
Former employee
Former employee
of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that your speaker going off?
She crappy speaker that's just
Yeah.
it's gonna say battery low for that's probably why it was sounding bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The battery was low.
Sure. But yeah, man, I'm married now, so like you said, I got a lot more chores to do. Yeah. So learning to do that and balance baseball and everything has definitely been kind of tough. But now that we're a couple years in, it's a lot easier. So
It's easy. That's the best part. Like when you're married, I feel like you become a better athlete. But then like when you have kids,
Oh, it goes downhill.
dude, downhill.
Quick.
Downhill quick.
we still got a couple years, so we're waiting a little bit longer.
Yeah. It's I don't know. We kind of talk about there's no like perfect timing to have the kids. It's like we didn't plan either of ours. They just came, and then when we look back, it's like it was perfect timing, right? Like it just kind of happened like that. One of the coolest moments I've ever had, I know that Kenny feels the same, is having your kid like at the game and like taking them on the field with you. They're they were too young to remember that.
Yeah.
Like they don't really know what's going on, but you're there, and it's like a pretty awesome feeling.
Yeah.
Full circle moment, like something that you'll be able to look back on and be like, okay, this was like what I devoted my life to, and now you're like devoting your life to like your kids now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. The only thing close, I had my dog at a game once.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And he was standing up in the stands like, yeah, that's kind of cool, yeah.
Oh, dude, just wait, man.
Yeah.
Kids change it. And
Yeah,
I was just talking about this with another buddy of mine that has kids a little bit older. But when you have a boy and they look at you and you kind of see them like looking at their superhero, right? Like it's kind of cool. And like my son now, he's walking around. He's like a little boy now. He's only 1, but he's an animal. Him and Mac, they're
Shout out to Mac's birthdays today.
Mac's birthday.
Oh,
Shout out to
dang.
Mac.
Let's go shout out to Mac. Yeah.
We got he's the next Jason Kelsey.
Yeah.
And then Max the next Josh Allen.
Yeah.
We'll be doing reps downstairs.
Yeah.
Kenny goes, "Hey, Jocko, get ready," and then he'll like bend Mac over, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Hey!"
Jeez, man,
Yeah,
that's
already
awesome.
Yeah. Max could definitely gonna have his hand in the dirt for sure.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be a skilled player. He's gonna be a good old guy up front.
Yeah. In
He'll
the
be an
trenches.
athlete, though.
Yeah.
He'll be an athlete,
He'll
but
be an
he'll just be.
Is he come over and get this speaker and throw it in the trash? This is a joke. But yeah, man, like once you're like kids start to look at you as not like a little baby, right? Because they're just like a little baby. I say it's bad, but it's like they can only do so much when they're little.
Yeah.
And then all you can do is just like
You really threw it,
you just throw the speaker.
He chucked it, dude. He chucked it.
Dude.
Oh no, he threw in boxes.
That was a gift.
Oh, he threw the box.
He
He
threw
threw
a
the
box.
box.
It's in his hand.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That was good, Busy. Yeah. I
real
laughed.
professional around here, as you can tell.
Yeah.
All right, well,
That's crazy, man.
what were you even talking about? Oh yeah, kids
We're
looking
talking-
at you.
Mhm.
Anyways, but dude, turn it off. All
All right, I think it's done talking.
We're
now.
back, but yeah. So your dog looks at you how our kids look at us.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a cool feeling
That's
for
cool.
you, right?
Yeah, he came to the game. It was cool. But I could imagine kids are probably a little bit cooler. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a picture of my kid after like a preseason like practice in the middle of MetLife, which
that's cool.
It was pretty cool. I have like video of him running around and like fireworks are going off on the stadium and stuff. So it was cool.
We had to have We had to have headphones for Joelle when I took her to the game because you know how the games are on TJ.
Oh my gosh,
they're
man.
loud. So when she would
It's
go
a
to the game,
production.
she had like these pink like noise canceling headphones that she had to wear. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was like too loud. My mom, like, she would go to the games, right? Because you just cross back and forth.
Yeah.
She went one time. I think it was her second or third game. She would come a lot, and she would go Friday, Saturday night.
Yeah.
One time she went to a game Saturday night. And after the game, she goes, "I'm not coming to the games on the weekend anymore. It's too loud. It's too crazy."
It's crazy.
She
man.
goes like to Tuesday, Wednesday night games, and then even like Thursday, she's like, I don't want to go. It's too loud.
You know what's crazy? I think MLB could like go to some of those games and see how exciting they are and like learn from it, because those games are so much more fun than like your average minor league game. I think if they took notes, man, because TJ's like a full on production. I don't know if you've ever been to any of those games.
Not. I should have went when I was like, I had a bunch of buddies who would go down and go to the games like while I was down there playing, and I always said I was going to go watch him play, but I never did.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's like nothing. Like it's more like a football game than a baseball game.
Yeah.
But it is out of control. It's like a full on production.
It is.
Versus
and they're good at it. Like the stadium's not that nice, it's just kind of old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's big and fits a lot of people, and it's loud, but it's just fun. Like, the fans care. They actually care. Like want you to win. They like cheer you on. Yeah. They love it, and everybody wants to play with TJ. You and I talked about this, which you played in the Mexican League this past year, which is getting. That league is good. It's like when people say, really like I went and played in Mexico. Yeah. I honestly, I will put the competition. You take the best team in Mexico, the best team in Japan and Korea. Mm-hmm. I think you got a series right there. Yeah, not every team in Mexico could be able to keep up, right? Because Japan has only 8 teams. Yeah, so they're all going to be good. Korea, I think, only has like 4 or 5. Yeah, all of them are good. It's hard to go. There's, I think, 18 teams in Mexico now.
Yeah, I think they added 2 new teams or something like that. I think there's almost 20 now.
Yeah, so you're going to have the teams that don't quite have the talent. But you take the top 4 in the Mexican League, I'll put those teams up against I'll put them up even against big league teams.
How would that compare to like into the States? Like, would you compare like Mexican League to AAA, AA, or like?
This is a question, and you can kind of answer this because you played in the winter and the summer. It's tough to answer, because if it's Mexico City and TJ playing, or TJ and Monclova, or TJ and Monterrey, if it's any of those teams playing, it's AAA or big leagues. Mm-hmm. Like Monclova, their entire infield one time, depending on the starting pitcher, was a big league all-star. Really? Catcher, pitcher, first base, second base, third base, shortstop. Addison Russell was playing third base. He didn't even play shortstop there. Like, they were stacked. They had good team. You had Eric Young Jr. playing center field. Like, you have dudes, players. So when those 2 teams are playing, it's AAA or big leagues. If like the 2 lower levels are playing, then it's maybe like AA. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Like,
it's the thing about Mexico is it's so competitive compared to the minor leagues. Like, the minor leagues, you play, it's more individual.
Yeah, you're trying to get promoted. You're trying to get up to the bigs.
Yeah, teams don't get promoted, players do. Yeah. Right. So like, where in Mexico, that's their big leagues, man. Like, you're playing, like, you gotta win, and especially in the winter playing as an import. It's a lot of pressure as a player too. I'd imagine it's like, what it's like playing in the big leagues. Like, if you don't get it done, the next guy's up. Yeah. So, but I agree. It's probably like 4A. Like,
it is.
It's like 4A. It's like right above AAA at times. You're playing like big teams. We were a good team. We won the league that year, this past year in the summer. So, it can be intense, man.
So you're playing summer and winter there?
Yeah, I played the winter this year. I don't know. Next year if I'll do winter. Okay. So it depends how this season goes, but
if you get with the right teams in Mexico, it's awesome. If you get with the wrong teams, it's not fun.
It can be tough.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, because if the team's doing good and they're making money, they're going to treat their guys really good. But still, like, it is Mexico. It's you're kind of playing in a third world country sometimes. Like, some of the cities are big and nice, awesome. Feels like you're in the States having a good time, and then some places you go where it's not that fun. So if you're on a team that's just kind of, like average of the road, and they're not making money, they're not going to treat you very good. Yeah. If they're trying to win and they're like pushing for a playoff run, they're going to treat your guys good, take care of them.
You're like a rock star out there, man. It's crazy.
I bet. Yeah.
There's some wild, I'm sure you have some wild stories about Mexico, but it is like, I couldn't have like guess what it was gonna be like. You could.
I
tell
tried
me.
to tell you,
And it's so hard to know until you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but man, tell you what,
Jake played in. Probably the. So let's just take TJ out of the picture. TJ is kind of like an anomaly in that league. Like you get to live on the beach, have an apartment, you go and play 20,000 fans every night. You're getting paid.
It's crazy.
Basically, like a big league team. All the guys are from the States. Like our meetings were in English, right? Like our pitching coach and hitting coach in 2021 when we met didn't even speak Spanish.
That's crazy.
Like
I didn't know
it kind of sucks for the people. Well, nobody on our team didn't speak English, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like an American team that puts down that. That's why the rest of the league does not like TJ because that's how it is.
Yeah.
Like we were the ones that brought in TrackMan. We did all that stuff. They were hiring guys from the stats, from the States. So take TJ out of it. Jake played in a spot to where it's almost like the best and worst setup possible. So he has to play in 2 teams. It's one team's in Texas and one team's in Mexico. It's right on the border. So half of your games are going to be road games. Half of your home games are going to be road games. Because you live on the Texas side, and then you cross the border and play home games on the Mexico side. Texas side is awesome. You know, nice stadium, all turf field. You get to eat Whataburger after the game if you want. Like you're living in the States, right? And normally the cities closest to the border are the most safe because of the border, right? So you're feeling good. Then you go across the border in one of the worst cities in Mexico. So normally crazy, border cities in Mexico are the worst. Like TJ is one of the most dangerous cities in the world because of the border. Yeah. San Diego is one of the most safest cities in the world because of the border, but it's America and Mexico. So Jake had to go do both for his home game. So
I was driving around in that
city. So like some of his games would be like
rolling around.
Super fun, and then you go to Mexico, it's almost like 75% of your games are on the road.
Yeah. So why do you split time in between 2? Is it just how it was set up and like the team or whatever?
Yeah, gotcha. I think so I'm not really sure the exact reason why they have 2 fields, but I know because they're in the Mexican League, they probably want to play in Mexico. They probably get more fans.
Yeah, for sure.
Make more money over there. So I think that's got something to do with it. But the fans over in Laredo are nuts too, man.
All the fans in Mexico.
Yeah, they're nuts.
They just care.
Laredo was they want to win, and so when you're not winning, it's tough. Yeah. Even though we were in first place, but yeah, dude, they're insane on the Mexico side. They're crazy on the American side too, but the Mexico side, man, is wild.
What was
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
What was the craziest thing that you saw this last year playing in Mexico? Winter or summer?
I couldn't pinpoint anything for you because it felt like every day.
It's true, dude. Like,
dude, it's wild. But I mean, there was some wild, like our bus breaking down on the side of the road, and
bus
we're in the middle of nowhere. And
TJ, we don't take buses. We flew everywhere.
Yeah, because you guys' travel's tough too over there. Yeah, because you guys gotta
we had a team bus, and it's like always parked at the stadium, but nobody ever rides it. Like I think they would pick up guys from the stadium and take them from the airport, like the coaches and stuff, if they wanted to keep their car at the stadium. But we never rode the bus. It sucks. We had to fly everywhere, but we didn't have those long, crazy bus trips.
Speaking of flying at Mexico, I got a good story for you. So I was in winter ball in Obregon, and we needed to fly to this stadium because our team was having some issues, so we couldn't play at our home field. And they made us get on those little tiny planes. Dude, they were like 12-seater planes. I'm sitting in the front like this, and I could see out the front window, like propeller in the front, everything, like a prop plane.
Heck yeah.
And we're flying in Mexico, and dude, we all get to the airport, and they told us one of the guys on our team didn't even go. He said, "I'm not going." I stopped, and then he went home after that.
I think you told. I saw your story.
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah, because Efren was right in front of you, right? And I was like, "Oh, say what's up to Efren," and I was like, "What's going on?" And then you were like, "Dude, sketchiest thing I've ever been a part of." One of the guys banged it and didn't even go.
Yeah, didn't even go.
Dang,
dude, and we were flying on this plane, and we're getting ready to take off, and all of us are cramped in there, like in this plane, and we're like, guys are praying, like we're like, oh my gosh, like
it's probably a couple of kilos of
dude, who knows
on the bottom, you know,
dude, and the first baseman's butt.
We were we're flying, and he's sitting there, and we get up, and I'm like, dude, we got like 2 hours of this, like, and he's just texting on his phone, watching he's not even touching the plane, just texting on his phone, the guy in the front on WhatsApp. and he's just chilling, and I was like, oh my gosh, bro, like this is crazy. So when we landed, all the guys got out and kissed the ground. Like it was like, hilarious, man. So that was a crazy one. We played in La Paz. It's like in a stadium that used to be in the league, but or something like that. Was their minor league or something. It was an awesome experience, but that plane ride was interesting.
Sketchy,
Man. Oh my gosh, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, we don't deal with that in the NFL.
No, NFL slightly.
Did you guys, like when you flew? Did you guys fly commercial, or did you guys have your like team plane or whatever?
No, we were with everybody else.
Like with the NARPs.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
With
NARPs,
the
is that what you call?
Non-athletic regular people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about. So, we told you about the Mesco stories. Well, what about flying in the NFL? Do they got like any special type of treatment, or you had any cool stories?
Literally, just walk on the tarmac onto a plane, and they have rows of food that you just go and grab what you want to eat. Chik-Fil-A, Gatorade, snacks, and then like you get on the plane and it's just like the steward just keep walking up and down with snacks and drinks the entire time. If you want the plain meals, it's like, oh, I'll take a salad and like some steak or whatever. And
we have Chick-fil-A on ours.
Yeah, I mean you have Chick-Fil-A when you walk on. Like like, you have the bag.
Yeah, literally you just grab your stuff.
Yeah. And then they have like the airplane meals. And it's the same stewardess and stuff throughout the whole entire season. So you have like all your stuff planned and everything, and your plane's all same pilots, same all that stuff. So it's like sit down and buckle your seatbelt and like turn your phone on airplane mode. No, like we're in the back like standing like surfing as the plane's like taking off and stuff, and like throwing water bottles down the aisle and like letting them come back when we're taking off. Dude, and everything.
And because my first experience, those planes go straight up.
Really?
Because when it's private, they want to get up to like whatever
cruising altitude
as fast as they can.
Really?
Normal with NARPs, civilians, they're cruising to make it comfortable. Private, no, straight up. So when he's saying like you roll it up and come back, because it's like
that's crazy.
Like that, like when it goes,
man.
And then they're going, and then they're just at cruising, like because they want to get up there as fast as they can.
It's so crazy, like fly, because like the longest time, like I would maybe take one or two like commercial flights a year, and then all the others were like that, so it's just like you get so comfortable and like have a whole row of seats to myself.
And it
like,
ruins it for
it ruins
just think about this. So I didn't get to do as many. Well, I don't know, because you guys. No, I didn't get to do as many as you, obviously. But big leagues, they're flying 3 or 4 times a week. They're just doing two back and forth. But think of having that experience and then getting downgraded to AAA, and you're still flying decent flights, but with other people. Some of them are get a chartered here and there, but not very many. And then go to Mexico. On Volaris, I'm sure you've flown Volaris, where they're so close together that you can't even like lean back. You got to sit up like this, and the seats are hard, and you're flying in Mexico. Think of like getting seen what like fun is, and then getting downgraded, and then getting just shit on.
But like for a football team, like no matter what, like you're gonna have 100 people going on a trip with you, no matter what level it is. If it's UFL or whatever it is now, it's like college, like even low level college, you're getting a full plane to yourself. So it's like, and it's almost at that point cost effective to like get the whole plane and not even like worry about going through security and all that kind of stuff. But when you have
they're being cheap, dude.
When you have 25 players though, like going on a 150 person flight, like that's different. Rather than 100 people going on a 120 person flight, it's the same kind of thing. So I don't know. I even flew this past year. I was doing radio for Fresno State, and I went to like the Arizona State game, and I flew with the team.
Nice.
And they like put me in the back and like the smallest seat next to like 3 people. I'm like,
put you in the bathroom.
I can't sit in this seat. I really can't. So like right when we took off, I just stood up and I was just standing the entire flight.
Yeah.
But so it's stuff like that where it's just like you take it for granted and you just have like no idea that like what the other side is, right? Like I'm just like, man.
Yeah.
I had it good for sure for a long time, and then it was like or later in my career where it was like I was starting and playing, and I was kind of a vet. Like, all the older guys get the first class. They sit up there, like they get their own pods, and they get to lay down and like on trips. I'm like, this is like a 2.5 hour flight. I get to like lay in this like pod, you know, like it's sweet.
Yeah. If that's not motivation to get to the next level for young people, you get to fly private and eat Chick-Fil-A and lay down on planes.
Or best was you just had all the rookies buy you food and bring it on the plane. So it was like, all right, everybody takes the order. We're going to this restaurant. You look up the menu, say I want this, this, and this. Yeah. And then it's in your seat one of the time. You get back to the locker room or something. So
you think Kenny's bad at the gym? How do you think he treated the rookies?
Oh my gosh,
dude, I was a good vet, man. I made everybody do their due diligence and their duties, but I was a good vet. I took care of the young guys.
Yeah.
How was your what did you think of Kenny before you kind of knew him?
Before I met him
and knew who he was? Like, what was your first encounter, and what did you think of him?
Kenny, so you obviously can't miss him. You know, walks in the door.
Fat.
Can't miss him.
He's not anymore. Would you weigh in at 75?
No. I'm like 80. But I'll show you a picture. I'll show you my fat picture.
Dude, all the time he'll like see me in the morning because he's been like fasting for 3 days. He goes, bro, 170 or 274 this morning. And then I'll see him the next day and I'm like, dude, what are you at? I ate like an asshole last night. I was like 85.
It's the truth, man.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
dude.
so you first met Big Kenny, NFL 320-pound Kenny.
Yeah,
Big
Kenny.
Like?
Yeah, I was like, that's a big dude. I wonder how these guys are throwing the football over this dude, man.
Yeah, I know.
But I was like, dude, if I'm a quarterback, I want that guy on the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think it was you and Tyler Bray.
Bray was in there.
And everybody. And you know how it is once athletes get around each other. It's just like you start talking and you relate to different things. So that's how I met Kenny. And then he started joking around with Dave, saying some crazy stuff. And I was like, this guy's a little crazy, man.
I'm not crazy.
You want to hear funny?
But I think it's funny is how Dave put him on the wall where nobody can see him.
Right.
I think that's hilarious, man.
I do have the biggest
There's
picture.
Some guys on the wall that haven't been there as long, so
I do have the biggest picture. I do have the biggest picture, my picture is probably the coolest picture, but I'm just like in the corner.
Yeah. So nobody can see it, you know?
This is bullshit.
Yeah, Dave. I was in the office one time. And if we're talking about the gym, we're talking about athletic performance in Clovis, California. It's where all the pros train. He's got like 12 or 14 guys getting ready for the NFL right now.
Crazy
NFL Combine. It's the best gym in the Central Valley by far. Dave's the owner. He's the mad scientist guy that gets us all right.
Yep.
And he one day I was going there because we still go in there and work out. Like Kenny and I, like we'll still go in. Like we're friends with Dave. He's dealt with us for 12 years now. And so I was in there one day and he goes, hey, have you seen the new poster or whatever? And I was like, no. And he goes, come in. And we went to the back room and he rolls it out and it goes like to all of us first. And I was like, dang, that's nice. And it has me with my media day picture. Everybody else is action and it's just me like this smiling in the camera, like just, whatever. And then I look in and like I see Kenny and I'm like, dang, Kenny got the big one. Like that looks sick. And then Dave just like kind of upset and he goes, yeah, but he's all mad about it. And I was like, why?
That was a good Dave impression.
Yeah. And then he goes, and Kenny says, Dave said that Kenny said that all of you guys are over here, but he's stuck in the corner. Nobody's going to want to go take a picture with him in the corner. I was like, that's classic Kenny.
Dave could have put me in the middle of it, just me, and I would have complained about it. So it didn't matter where he put me. I was going to complain no matter what. Dude. He can't do anything right in my eyes.
Yeah. Kenny was good at having at the gym because he doesn't let you get away with BS. Mm-hmm. He's not like mean about it, but he's just kind of call you out.
You need that person that keeps it loose and but also is on everybody. I think that's like a huge part of the culture of the gym at AP. So Kenny was definitely
you have to earn that, right? Like and I feel like that's why it's like so cool is you can literally a professional athlete can walk in at any time. Giannis, one of the best basketball players in the world, could just walk in at any time. Quincy can be in there. Like, there's like so many cool people that go because there's like the Central Valley breeds athletes. Like there's tons of good athletes and they all come back and they're pretty good about it. Funny story about Jake, how we're talking about, you know, kind of like wearing guys out sometimes. Not like mean, it's just like fun. So the first year that Jake and Luplo and who else came with that? Yeah, TK, they came over from a different gym. It was probably like your second year. We had a good group of guys, like worked hard, and we would go with Josh early to warm up, do like the speed work, and then we would lift with Dave, and we had like a good setup. It was fun. All of us got after it, worked hard. The next year, Jake comes and he was kind of quiet. Like he would come, like we would talk, you know, like he'd work hard, you know, super strong. We would kind of get after it. The next year, there was a couple guys younger than him that like came in. And Jake's just wearing these guys out. And I'm like, dude. I
remember that. I got a story. After you're done, I got a story to tell you guys.
Wearing them out.
Yeah.
And he goes, and then he goes, but like never to like me or any like the older guy. He was just wearing out like this one dude. And then not like mean or malicious. He'd just be like, come on, Bruno, let's go. Let's get it up. He used to call him Bruno. Yeah. And he'd be like, man, get used to it. Tyson wore my ass out last year. Now I get to deliver it to somebody else.
And it's just festering inside of him. It's building it up. Yeah.
That's how it works. It's like you got to earn your stripes a little bit, and then you can kind of dish it out a little bit.
But that's the fun part of it. It's not, you know, it's not malicious. We don't say anything about anybody's mama or anything. It's just like, that's it. You're only going to get the 50s, like just like little chirps like that. Like, come on, it just makes it so much. And then you're just like, okay, man, like I am better than I thought. Like
for sure.
Like the younger guys look up like, man, Kenny thinks I'm stronger than I am. Like, wow, that's encouraging. But it's just like all fun and games.
I remember it was around that time too, where it was like your second year, and we kind of knew each other in a little bit. And I forget who it was you were like chirping with back and forth. But you were talking about how like that was your parking spot right there, there in the front of the thing. So I heard you, and I was like, this motherfucker, I'm gonna come here early every single day and park in this spot just so he does not get this spot. And
when Kenny parked there, I didn't say anything.
And he didn't say anything to me.
There was one time. There was one time like the dude that you know he would wear out because they were like friends. Like they would kind of talk to each other. And I did something exactly the same way or same thing that the other guy did, and he didn't say anything to me. And then like the guy goes, why don't you say anything to Tyson? And he didn't even like look at me or think. He just goes, Tyson's earned the respect for me not to talk shit to him. Something like that. He's like,
dude, it's the best.
I don't talk to him. I don't talk to him that way. And he goes, you don't talk to me that way.
Dude, it's the best.
Dude, it was fun, man. That year was crazy because I think that was like right when like COVID was going on or right before. Or something like
it had to have been before.
Yeah. And dude, we were like, we had a good group. We were wearing each other out. Tevin Mitchell was in there.
Tevin during 2020 when everything was shut down got strong. Dude, he was huge.
He was a beast, man.
And he's just like a genetic freak, just like ripped out of his mind. I'm like, he was out there. He took his shirt off one time. I go, because it was outside in the heat because we couldn't work on this. I'm like, dude, put your shirt on. You're making us look bad.
Everybody in here.
You're making us look bad, dude.
Dude, we had a crazy schedule during that time. We had this group that was in AP. It was all the guys working out. We were playing video games till like 3 a.m. We had merchandise, team merch. We were doing the national anthem before. We were playing Call of Duty. Hardcore search and destroy. National anthem before. Everything, dude. We were playing all night, and then we were sleeping in, and then going to work out from like 1 to like 3, just getting swole. And then
I would show up like once a month and work out with them.
It was crazy, man. But that environment was fun. You know, we all had good years after that year. We all went in the season, had great years. So worked out, man. But
that's part of it.
Yeah,
that's part of it. You know what else will make you have an amazing year?
Oh my gosh.
Kenny, tell me.
I know exactly what.
Kenny, you go ahead and start it, and then I'll just read off the ingredients. Go ahead.
Magic Mind.
Really? What's that?
What?
What?
Time out.
Dude.
You don't know what Magic Mind is?
Don't know what it is.
Bro, we got to get you some.
Okay.
It is the premier drink to drink with like your coffee pre-workout to keep you locked in all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us know what's in it. So it's like a little, it's just like a little shot that we have. We'll maybe have them send some to you. It's called a productivity shot. It's got matcha green tea for the energy, but then it's got like lion mane's mushroom. It's got Kenny's favorite ashwagandha. So you basically just like you just drink it every day, like with your coffee.
Yeah.
And because we're not the smartest people in the world, we had them explain it to us like in very dumb terms. That they just take the caffeine and it just gets extended all day.
Really?
And then it has like the ashwagandha, the lion's mane mushrooms to help you turn that caffeine into focus. So then it helps you focus a little bit. Now it's not like the movie Limitless where you're just gonna be freaking locked in.
Basically.
But then just think of like having like a really, really good productive day.
Yeah.
It's like that every single day. Kenny loves it. I think he's addicted to it. It's getting.
I need some more.
It's getting bad. Yeah, I drink it every single day. I just got a new shipment, so I'll be giving you some more. He's been, dude, I'm out of Magic Mind. Where is it? And I'm like, I gotta wait for the shipment.
I know
it's
he's
coming.
starting to move around more, scratches neck
right?
a little bit.
Yeah, he's getting there. So, if you guys go to magicmind.com/1degree. Do the subscription because you gotta drink it every day, right? Like you can drink it one day and it'll help you, but the more you take it, you get like locked in to where you just become like a machine. Like it's almost like a routine in sports, right?
Yeah,
you just do it and then you're just locked in. It's like this is part of your routine. So you get the subscription, magicmind.com/1degree, and then you also promo code 1degree20, then you'll get an extra 20% off.
Dang, man.
Yeah, you're pretty good right there.
Nice.
For the listeners, Jake's, a big shot, so he'll probably get some free ones, but we'll get you on there.
Cool.
So use that code. Also go work out at Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Clovis, California.
Yep.
Yes.
And if you need lights, Alpha Lit Fresno, Alpha Lit Sacramento, they will set you up, make you look good.
Nice, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That was good, man. That was professional. Tyson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, hey, just freaking wing it around here.
Just
We
reads it
wing
off his
around
computer.
Yeah.
Well, because of the ingredients. There's some other ingredients.
He doesn't know how to say ashwagandha without reading it.
Can you spell that for me without looking at it?
Yeah, ASHWAGANDHA. So for all the people listening in audio only, I did not look at the computer. I just read it.
I didn't look at the computer. I just read it.
Yeah. He's kind of got yourself there, man.
Let me tell you something. Locked in. All right, back to Gatewood. Enough of Kenny. Enough of me. Talk to us about high school because you're from Visalia originally, and then you came to Clovis.
Yep.
Ended up getting drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
Projected, to be the next Alex Rodriguez, the best high school players in the country. You have all the talent. Talk us kind of a little bit about the beginning and then things that you learned from that now kind of at your 10th this
year,
is just your 10th season, right? Yeah. So how'd that work out? How'd you come to Clovis? How'd all that start in high school?
Yeah, so I grew up in Visalia. My sister went to Redwood High School. And she was like the best tennis player to ever come out of there, by the way. I walked into Redwood and the gym and her name is everywhere on all the different banners. So, coming in, there was some big shoes to fill. So, it was fun though. I got to play football there and then a season and a half of varsity baseball. And so I had a great time. But moving to Clovis, my family moved up here. Man, that was such a big adjustment compared to like Division II sports, and then Clovis. Like it's like its own, especially baseball here. It's like its own like thing, man. Every person that comes here, even from LA, is like, man, your guys' fields are crazy. And
dude, Clovis is some of the best sports in the country.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
crazy.
Troy Gloss is one of the coaches here.
Yeah, Troy Gloss,
like big league all-star. Like
how'd that happen?
It's crazy, like the sports.
Wild and
that we have here. So you came to Clovis and it was kind of a shock for you in the beginning?
A little bit, yeah. I was like, because I sat out the first 2 weeks. I transferred in the middle of baseball season. So I was like, man, this is crazy. But luckily I played a few games. Redwood played like Clovis High and Clovis North and stuff like that. So I kind of had a little bit of a background, but not anything crazy. And so those first 2 weeks I was like, all right, I'm going to have to put on out here. Like, this is no joke. And so got to Clovis High. Halfway through, sat out the 2 weeks, and we were the last place team in the track, and we ended up making it to the Valley Championship that year. We just got hot at the right time. We had like Blake Lacey. I don't know if you remember him.
This was
USC.
your sophomore year?
Sophomore year. We lost in the Valley Championship to Bullard. They had Blake Quinn, a couple of good players, but that was my first taste. So I think it kind of helped me going into the football season there and getting to play football. We were the #1 team in the Valley that year. Lost in the first round of playoffs.
Elk Grove.
Sometimes how it always works
Elk
out.
Grove was like
Elk Grove, freaking stumbling herd. Here
Yeah.
we go.
my high school. Elk Grove was like the best baseball team in the country for like 10 years straight or something like that.
Yeah, a couple of my buddies went there. That's actually where my dad went to high school.
Really?
Yeah, he went to McClatchy and Elk Grove.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
You might get the alumni discount on the house,
dude.
dude.
The Thundering Herd
Alumni.
discount. Let's go.
Yeah, my buddies, dude, they had Derek Hill,
Yep.
Rowdy Telez,
Yep.
Nick
Nick Madrigal.
Madrigal, Dylan Carlson.
Dylan Carlson was like my bat boy
Yeah,
growing up, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
like he was like around like the little like
yeah,
my buddies like used to babysit him and stuff.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Because Carlson was the coach. It was
Yeah.
like the longtime coach.
Yeah,
and,
right. His dad.
Yeah, and he was like he literally just was one of the guys who like handed me my jersey at my jersey retirement. So like,
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
Nice.
Carlson was there. Like, yeah. Funny story about Carlson. After my freshman year, I played baseball,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just play basketball and football. I went and had a meeting with him in his office, and I was like, hey, I just let you know that I'm thinking about just playing baseball and football, or I mean basketball and football. And he goes, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, you just focus on that, because
Yeah.
I mean we were stacked. And
Mhm.
we just sat at the bench.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it recently hit a home run at Grizzly Stadium,
That's
right?
what I was just
So-
about to say. Kenny hit
Two.
two
Two
home
home
runs.
runs.
Do not cut him short.
Is he still
because-
trying to throw 80 or whatever?
No.
No, he banged that.
Yeah, that was
That was a
hard.
joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
My arm won't. I mean, maybe one day.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
enough
dude, it
about
was-
Kenny.
Yeah,
Enough
keep
about
going,
you,
keep
Kenny.
going.
It was,
Jeez.
transferring was such a cool experience for me because I met some of my like lifetime, friends, like guys in my wedding, all from Clovis High.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a cool experience getting there. And then my senior year or my junior summer, I did that home run derby in New York, and that like changed my life. Like at that point, because I was a good player. I committed to USC, but it wasn't like on a huge scale. And when I did that home run derby, man, it was like all of a sudden overnight I'm supposed to be like the first overall pick. So it was like a Sports Illustrated article came out, and it was
Dang.
like, dude, and so
And this was the summer going into your junior year?
so after my junior season.
After your junior
Mhm.
season.
Yeah. And so all that started in my senior year. I had people showing up to lunch, like scouts at lunch, like trying to talk to me, and I'm trying to pick up my lunch and all that type of stuff, and all over the games, and it was nuts, man. My teammates could tell you it was like out of control. Like they probably shouldn't have that much access to all the stuff, but then had a good senior season. We won the Valley Championship that year. So it was like a storybook ending. I actually got to finish my last high school game was in Rawhide Stadium in Visalia, because Bakersfield didn't want to travel to Clovis to play, but it ended up being 2 Clovis teams, but we still had to play in Visalia. And my first high school game ever was in Rawhide Stadium. Hit my first home run ever in high school, and my dad hit his first professional home run at Rawhide Stadium. And then I finished my last game there. So it was like my world collided, like all the people from Visalia and then all the new people from Clovis. And we walked off Buchanan state championship. It was sweet, man. So that's how I ended the high school years. But then after that, win the first round with Milwaukee. So it was.
What was that? So it happened quick. So that 1 year
Mm-hmm.
is crazy for a 17-year-old kid to
For sure.
do, and then now you're drafted in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
What is there kind of like added pressure on you? Did you kind of think that you were better than you
Mm-hmm.
were? Like, was there kind of like a learning period there?
Yeah, I think, actually, I was just talking to one of my buddies about this, and like it being my 10th year of professional baseball, like getting in at 18 is like tough, dude. Like, you guys know the benefit of going through college and getting to mature on like maybe a little bit. I don't know about college football. College football is pretty big, but for baseball, maybe a little bit smaller scale. But going in at 18 was tough. And I think for me, just I had all these expectations from outside people because of the home run derby, because of all this stuff they
shoot,
expect
just getting drafted in the first round
First
alone,
round.
you have so much more pressure on you. Like
it's crazy.
everybody else inside like the spring training facility looks at you different because there's only like 3 or 4 of you,
Yeah,
right? And they look at you different. They treat you different. They talk shit about behind your back because
yeah, it's a lot.
Because I would see it. Like I would never do it. I'd be like, oh, that guy's cool. I want to hang out with him. All the other guys, they're always talking shit about the guys who were, first rounders. You always get that. Oh, here we go, first rounder. Oh, bonus baby, all that stuff. Like
it's a lot.
You have a lot more than people think.
Yeah, people think it's like, oh, you're the first round pick and you get paid a lot, so like you should just be chilling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Right? Like, what do you have to? You already, and it's like, yeah, like, I'm super thankful I got what I got, and like, I thank God for that. It helped my family, helped my dad with his business and everything he's doing. But like at the same time, I want to play in the big leagues just as bad as the other guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still at the end of the day, I'm in low A and I got to go up 4 levels, 5 levels. You know what I mean? So I still have that pressure, and not only when I get there, people are expecting me to perform. So like there is a lot that comes with it that people don't see, especially at 18. Like, man, I didn't really know much about the minor leagues.
Nobody does. And then when you get into it, you're just like,
so I'm 18 thinking like I'm gonna be in the show at like 19. I got all these expectations, and people are expecting me to do that. And so when I didn't start out hot, you know what I mean? Not only was it hard on myself because I wanted to perform that way, but now I got, I used to get so upset. It was like, man, this dude's like 45 writing an article about me saying I'm not good. It's like, man, you're a grown man. I'm an 18-year-old kid. Like, why are you writing about me? You know what I mean? So that part I think was the hardest one for me was
because I don't think, sorry to cut you off there, but
yeah,
people don't realize that there's 25 guys at each level. Jake's probably the only one that's getting interviewed all the time. The one that's like, got a camera in his face, that they're looking at his stats, that they're writing articles. Because when were you drafted? What year?
2014.
Yeah, so 2014 first round picks only hitting 280, something like that. Like, he's the only one that's getting that. Nobody else in that locker room is getting that. And I witnessed the same thing with Mark Appel, and he had it the worst. Like,
he did, yeah.
Number 1 overall pick, record signing bonus, was supposed to be in the big leagues the same year, and he has a 10 ERA in A-ball.
Yeah.
Every day he had people talking to him, asking him questions, calling him, trying to do interviews. Every outing for him, like, dude, he'd give up 7 runs and come out in the second, third inning, and he's got to answer questions that nobody else has to answer. Like, it's hard, especially you as an 18-year-old kid. He was older. He went back to Stanford. He was 22, but he even talks about it the same way. It's like, dude, it was hard. Like, obviously, he's one of the nicest guys that like I've ever met. I couldn't imagine what it's like 18, 19 years old, 20 years old.
It was tough, man.
And it's like almost, there's like the two sides of it too, where the other side is like you're wishing like, please don't talk to me today, right?
Yeah.
And the guy who's like the late round draft pick, who's like your teammate, is like, somebody please talk to me. You know, I want to make a name for myself.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like there's a give and take with it a little bit where you're like, man, get these cameras out of my face, get these like writers out of my face. Yeah. Where the other guy's like, man, I wish that guy would talk to me. Yeah. So it's like there's almost some sort of like jealousy coming from both ways, right? Where it's like, you're like, man, I wish I could just sit in my locker and nobody talk to me. Yeah. Well, this other guy who's sitting in his locker and nobody's talking to him was like, man, I want one person to talk to me, right? So it's weird because I was that way. I was like totally under the radar until like year 9 in the league, right? Where it's like nobody gave a shit about me until I was a starter or whatever, and that was way later in my career, and I couldn't imagine like getting thrown into the fire. Yeah. Right when I'm 18 years old, because even at Fresno State, like we had a rule as the O-lineman, we didn't talk to the media. So it was like everybody knew not to talk to us, and so it was like I didn't really talk to anybody until like 10 years into like really playing competitive football, right? So it's like,
and then he's over there. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like this is my first interview. I'm 28 years old.
No, it's crazy. My year 8 in the league was the first time I ever went to a podium. Really? For football interview. That's crazy. It was like my second year in Detroit, and like all the news people were like blown away that like that was my first time going to a podium. That's crazy. Yeah.
Honestly, that is pretty
And
cool.
and like
Yeah.
it's not like I didn't want to or I didn't like
No.
nobody wanted me to.
Yeah.
You know, so like
Yeah.
I was around, but like nobody cared.
Dude. Yeah, and honestly, man, like, because I feel like O-linemen never really get the credit they deserve, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the same thing as like sometimes it's not always a bad thing. Because like you get to live the quiet,
I agree.
simple life.
I know. Like that's what
Yeah.
I'm like trying to get at too, where it's like
yeah,
some of it's kind of nice, right?
yeah,
like,
it is.
yeah, it would be kind of cool to get some of the endorsement stuff.
Yeah,
that,
of
like,
course.
that Jason
Yeah.
Kelsey's getting kind of
Yeah.
right now. You know, like he's blown up and he's like an O lineman that's
Yeah.
the only one like ever to do
For
it,
real.
right?
Yeah,
And now it's like, okay, that's like a whole different revenue stream that you
Yeah.
could kind of pull in from your football career.
There's a lot
Yeah,
more stuff
after
that
you're
comes
done,
with that.
right.
There's a
also.
lot more stuff that
Like,
comes with that where
Yeah.
it's like you can't go out to eat with your family and stuff like
Exactly.
that. Like I've watched like Stafford go out to like a restaurant somewhere
Yeah,
and
and
just
stuff.
get hounded. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
man.
everybody wants that, but they don't want what comes with
No.
it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants success, but they don't want what comes with success. Like success looks good on Instagram or on
Mhm.
TV. It's not easy.
yeah. No,
Like,
it's not.
No,
It's not at all.
and you like people put success on you as an
Mhm.
18, 19-year-old kid, and then when you're not performing the idea that they put in
Mhm.
their head that you were supposed to be,
Yeah.
because nobody sees baseball.
No.
Like just like you, when you
Yeah.
got drafted, you didn't know what it was like.
No.
Nobody knows that there's 8 levels that you got to go
Yeah.
through in order
It's
to
crazy.
get to the big leagues,
Yeah.
and a very, very small percentage of the people get there.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like like going back, right? I don't wish to change anything, right? Because it taught me a lot. At the end of the day, a lot of my experiences, because I've had years where I've done really, really well, right? Where I played and played up to those expectations, and some years where, I missed the mark. So, but one thing that like, if I could tell a first rounder going back, or even anybody who's like, even if you're the guy that nobody wants to talk to, I think just learning like, at the end of the day, if you could just be the best player you can be and put all of your attention into that, everything is going to work out. You know what I mean? So like, that's what that whole process kind of caused me to veer like down a different path or like a different perspective, right? Like if I would have just focused on like, well, they could say what they want, I'm just going to get 1% better every day and be the best player I can be, because that's all I can do. I can't be this player everybody wants me to be. I'm going to be the best version of myself. You know what I mean?
Did it take you a while to get that?
Yeah.
Like when did
To
you
be
kinda
honest,
get it?
kind of just like I learned a little bit in 2017, and I've kind of been building on it ever since. And so like,
That's when you started working out with me.
yeah, hear that? So
Probably got worse.
but yeah, dude, that's like, I mean, I feel like all athletes get there at some point. You hope it's while you're still playing, and so I'm thankful I still have a jersey on my back and I still get to continue to learn and play and see how good I can be. But I think that's the biggest, when you're young in your career and the fame looks good and you want to be like the best player ever. We all dream of that, right? Like being the best player like in the big leagues, in the World Series. You have the Nike endorsement, like all this type of stuff, but you can't really control any of that. So, learning to just be the best player you can be and focus on the process of doing that. I think, man, a lot of that pressure and a lot of that stuff that doesn't matter, it's all externals, right? Kind of just melts away. I know you guys can
No
speak
doubt.
to that too, right? Like, because once you play at a high level, you start to realize that. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing I learned from that whole experience.
Yeah, one of like the biggest thing, like kind of what you're talking about for me was like, I'm not going to get cut or make the team off of this one play,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or this one at bat,
Yeah.
right? Like I used to beat myself up so bad, like I had a bad block and I'm like, dang, like boom, boom, boom. And just like in my mind, I'm like, fuck it, they've already cut me 10 times,
Yeah.
right? They've already done the worst. I've already been through the worst possible thing. So why not just go out there, have fun, do what I know what I can do, and just go out there and play. And that's like when that clicked in my brain, that's when I just like started playing really well and like making teams and like doing all this kind of stuff, which didn't happen like early in my career. That's kind of what you're talking about right now, where it's like just letting it loose and doing what like you've done your entire life and letting it happen and however it happens,
Exactly.
right? And that and being okay with that because you put everything into it,
Exactly.
right? And that's the best place mentally you could be as an athlete, for sure.
Yeah, it's that like I'm prepared and it is what it is after that. And I think that's where too like a big part of my faith grew. that year I did I had the best season of my career so far. It was in 2017. I was like 21, and just having that perspective, like, okay, like God is in control. There's nothing I have to do out here. I don't have to perform. I don't have to do anything to get anybody's approval. Like, I'm just going to be the best version of who he's created me to be. And wherever he decides to take me is where he takes me. And dude, the pressure, just like, that was the first time I was on a baseball field and didn't feel pressure my whole life. Cause when I was 10, we went to the Calverton World Series and we won the World Series from Visalia, this little small.
Really?
Yeah. And so we went to the World Series twice, 10 and 12. And so I'd always been playing at a high level. I never hadn't played at like one of the highest levels I possibly could. So, but I always felt a little bit of pressure or a little bit of that, like, you know, what they call maybe now like a little bit of that anxiety feeling of like, shoot, I got to do this and that. But man, that year in 17 when I was 21, the first year I kind of became proactive in my faith. That first time I took the field so free, I felt like I could do whatever I needed to do. I could just finally fully operate, being the best player I could be on the field every single day, and that was the best year I had.
And that's preparation too, right?
For sure.
That's preparation, and that's preparing your mind to get you ready into that state too, which that's the key, is just being being the most prepared you can be for when those opportunities arise, right?
Exactly.
Like I always say, I don't believe in luck. I believe in preparation meets opportunity, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's where you're lucky, is that you were so prepared when the opportunity came, you struck gold, right?
Exactly.
Like that's just what it is.
Yeah, you can't try to create that opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Like you just be prepared.
Can't hope for luck or wish for luck or everything like that, and just hope that something good happens. No, it's you're preparing your body, you're preparing your mind, you're preparing your skill to be the best when you get that opportunity.
Exactly, for sure.
So you two had like pretty opposite careers, right? Like you were
for sure.
You were thrown into it with your name already. It was like before you even played a game, you were like supposed to be successful.
Yeah.
Him, it wasn't. It was like I have to earn every single thing. So then he doesn't really have the pressure, like how he said. He's like, I've already been cut 10 times. What are they gonna do? Cut me again? It's the worst thing I can. You like didn't have that. It was total opposite. Was there a point in your career where you almost wished like you could fit in with the rest of your teammates, that you were a 20th round pick, or just like a senior sign that's out here has like nothing to lose, because they don't have anything to lose, right? Yeah. Some of those guys were like, they were going to start their job afterwards, and they had like a last good 5 games of their senior season, and then got a call. Didn't even get drafted, but got a call and come and playing. And they're playing so free. But then they look at you, got drafted in the first round out of high school, supposed to be the next A-Rod, got millions of dollars. And you have all the pressure. Was there a time where you ever wish like you could, trade shoes with some of those guys?
100%. I think especially my first like 2 years, when I was like I wasn't doing bad, but I wasn't living up to the expectations they wanted me to. So in their minds, I was playing bad. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, the other 18-year-old kid that got drafted in the 10th round, I did better than he did, and they're saying how good he did. You know what I mean? So it's like, I was like, man, sometimes I wish like I didn't have that label of like, you gotta. And again, now I don't mind it. Whatever it is, like I'd be able to handle it, right? But like then when you're 18, 19, you're still learning. You were in history class with your, you know what I mean? Like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you're supposed to be this like amazing player. And it's like, I was facing, this kid who wasn't even going to college for baseball like a month ago. And now I'm supposed to hit these Dominican guys throwing 100. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm playing again. I'm on the field. I'm 18. I'm on the field with 25-year-old, 26-year-olds, So like, they got almost 10 years on me. So, that part was tough. At times I was like, man, I don't feel like I'm doing that bad, but everybody thinks I'm doing bad. So that part was tough for me. But again, I think it taught me so much, and it's crazy how we both like agree on the same things. We come from different sides of it, right? Like, being on that huge stage and then not starting on that and then working your way up to that big stage. Like, we both agree that the pressure and the externals mean absolutely nothing. If you just focus on being the best player you can be and being prepared, that whether you are the guy that's the high pick or whether you're the guy that's the lower pick, as long as you can focus on those things and understand that at the end of the day, 10 years in now, I understand it literally doesn't matter at all. Like, they could say whatever they want. Like, that's their job. They have to write something on, and you just happen to be the one person they have to write on. So, like, but we both agree, man. It's just the pressure and all that. It's kind of what you make it. If you don't allow it to affect your process and your perspective, it really doesn't have a play on the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because me personally, I was like, man, if I would have just gotten drafted, I would have been like, I would have been good to go, you know. But like,
for sure,
it's the same thing. And I always said that the people who were drafted and I'm above me and everything, they had to get cut, and I had to make the team.
Yeah.
Right, because that's just how like I approached it. Right, like I have to do something spectacular to beat these guys out to like make the team, which you or like somebody in your position just has to perform, right? Yeah, just has to be like, just has to perform. And I was like, I would have died to be in that position. But it's also like me looking back on it now. I'm like, man, all I had to do was like just prove one person wrong. Yeah. And then just like keep proving one person wrong and be like, oh,
brick by
brick and build it, right?
Well,
maybe we should keep Kenny around a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe we should keep him around a little bit longer and see what happens. And that's kind of just how I worked, and it worked for me. And like, luckily it worked for me, and it doesn't work like that for a lot of people, right? It does not. And
I think that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Like, to deal with in somebody like his situation,
for sure,
right? Like, you knew that you had to do that. What do you have to lose?
Yep.
Right, to where everybody kind of already knows that it takes, you know, hard work, sacrifice, dedication, being consistent, all that stuff in order to be successful. Somebody like you knew that. Like, I have to work my butt off. I have to stay extra. I have to stay that just because this is the only chance that I got. Somebody like Jake, in his scenario, he didn't get to do that. Like he said, instant success, winning the Cal Ripken World Series, going to Clovis, making it to, like, all he knew was winning. And it's just like, basically it kind of shows up in your head. And like, I had to deal with this too. It's like, if I show up, I'm gonna win type thing, right? Like, everything was easy for me growing up as a kid. Like, I just showed up and won, and I was good. That moment where something happened and it was struggled, adversity, instead of being like, I have to prepare, I have to get better, I have to work hard, I just thought I wasn't good, right? And I don't know if you felt this either, because I know that stuff was easy for you growing up. When you first hit that adversity or failure, your mind just instantly goes to, I'm not good enough.
Yep.
Where somebody in your situation is, it's the opposite. I'm not good enough. I have to earn it. I have to earn it. I have to earn it. So I kind of got knocked back a little bit and had to learn pretty quickly, because I wasn't on your level getting drafted, and I didn't have to deal with the things that you did, but everything was easy for me up to a certain point. And when you get to pro ball, you get your ass handed to you. And guess what? You wake up again and you have to do it again.
Yeah, the next day.
He gets an entire week to kind of chill, right? Like, like if you had a bad block, you're going to get roasted in like the meetings and stuff, but it's like not a game. So if you go 0 for and you had, 3 strikeouts, you're like, I got to do it again. And I remember like, being on the phone with my mom when I was in A-ball, like, like crying to my mom. I'm 21 years old and I'm just like, why? Why? Like, I'm like, you think that you're working hard, or you think that you show up and you just are a good person that is just supposed to go your way. Yeah. And why? Like, I threw the right pitch right there, and like the guy hit a homer. Why? Like, feeling all sorry. Like, when I look back at myself now, it's like, you're such a bitch. Not because
I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say it.
I could feel it coming off you. I could feel it coming off.
No, but I'm serious, because it's like, you're complaining. You're a professional athlete. You're on this, and you're complaining about it. You're not. First of all, you didn't show up grateful when you were there. Yeah. Now, when I look back, I'm like, obviously, I had to go through that to become like the man that I am today, and then you have to go through these things in order to learn. He had to have it early. We had to have it late, right? Because it was like, oh, we were this, and then we got our butts handed to us, and then had to learn and grow. And I think that both roads lead you to where you want to go. Yeah. But at the time when you're on that road, it's just like,
it's tough. The quicker you could just embrace it and say, okay, it is what it is. Like, I'm not good right now. I'm not in the greatest situation. Like, okay, that's true, but like, okay, what's the next step? What's my 1%? Like you said, brick by brick.
Yep,
What's the one step I could take forward? Maybe instead of giving up 3 home runs, I give up 2 home runs today, and I take that as a win. And I think the more you could have that perspective, especially like in the minor leagues, like it's even the levels are like brick by brick. You continue to get better and better, and guys are more consistent. So the more you can stay in the present and just continue to get like you guys said, that brick by brick, 1% better, or whatever anybody wants to say, the more you can focus on that and be present, I would say, man, that would, if you could learn that at 18, 17 years old.
Did you look at it as like when you step in and you like the brick by brick analogy, when somebody says you have to build a wall and you look back, it's like, I had to do all this. This looks like so hard. But then when you just focus in and you just lay one brick and you lay that one, and then like sooner or later when you look back, you have a wall. And then for me, that kind of happened because I look like all this. It's like, how am I going to get here? I suck right now. Like my pitches suck. And then once I just got into that mindset of brick by brick, me and Kenny have talked about this, where it's like, I'm going to do everything I can for this day. And if I win the day, that's good. I can't worry about tomorrow. I can't worry about having to build this wall. I just put a brick for that day. And then I woke up the next day and put another brick. And then, you know, a year and a half later, I was like, I had this wall and I had, you know, some success, like an injury kind of put it back on me, but I really wouldn't change it because I learned so much from failing and being on my own. Like, dude, if I had help, or if I had my parents, or I had somebody there with me to take the pressure off, I wouldn't have learned what I had. And you being on your own at 18, 19, even up to, you know, when you're 24, like you're alone. This kind of takes me into my next question a little bit. Now you're married, and now you have a wife. How do you see the game now and play versus when you were single, before you even met her as a kid? Now you're an adult, married, playing a professional game. What's that like?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm so thankful I met her, because I was not headed down the best path. Not a bad way, but like now that I've met her, and she's been able to help me keep my perspective. She's very strong in her faith, and she's running professionally too. So it's like we're both athletes, and to see her, I have to give her advice sometimes. I'm like, wow, I should probably take that advice for myself. You know what I mean? Like, but man, she's helped me a lot. And so now seeing it from a perspective of like, I mean, you guys too, like when you have a family and there's so much more that matters above our sport, right? Like there's so many different things that now your perspective is a lot. You see the bigger picture a lot more. I think for me playing the game now, I see it as like, obviously it's a way to provide for my family. So I think maybe there's a different level of focus, and like you guys said, with your kids there and all that type of stuff. So I obviously need to provide for her and my family. And so I take it a lot more seriously. But I think now I have more fun playing now than I did as a kid, because now I'm like you said, Kenny, like what's the worst they can do to me? My wife is at home. I'm good. You guys want to send me home? Hey, take that. Like if I'm fully prepared and I gave my best and I played free out there and you guys want to send me home, dude. I got a wife and we're starting a family, all these great things, right?
As long as they're good.
I'm good. You know what I mean? So
that's what I had lunch with one of our good friends, Rob Golden, the other day, and we were talking about stuff because he went through a period after his career before, like when he was starting his school, you know, like you know, a kind of like a depression phase when you're out of the game, because it changes. Life's different when people are always telling you when to show up, what to do, and then now you have to do it on your own, and you still want to be successful. It's like kind of tough. And he was saying like, you know, one of the things that like I had to step back and do, and even like the times that I do now when I, you know, like stress out about something, is I go back and it's like, okay, are my kids good? Okay. Is my wife good? Okay. Like, am I good? Okay. We're good. I'm good. Exactly. Right. And like, that's it. Nothing else matters. Like, you're going to have bad days, but it's like, if you just be grateful for everything that you have, if everything that you are really, really care about, if they're all good, then you are good. And then it really, really changes your perspective on it.
Completely. I feel like that's also something like in my faith too, is like having thankfulness is what I feel like, you know, God's called us to do in every situation. And so like learning to have thankfulness even when things are tough.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Man, I tell you what, you practice it once and you see the benefit of it. Like going through Mexico, I learned that a lot, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'd be on them
So
bus
grateful.
trips and I'd be like, man, you know, I would have to make myself be thankful about some things. But once I did it,
Yeah.
I was like, you're right. This isn't too bad.
Yeah,
I could
man.
do this. You
And
know?
then, like, you know, faith is a huge thing. One
Yeah.
of my favorite sayings is, faith is the oil that takes the friction out of living.
For
and
sure.
how you said, like, once you got into your faith, is like,
Mhm.
you didn't care anymore.
No.
Right? Just took
Yeah.
the friction, took the stress off.
Yeah. Finally
that
could
stuff.
walk and play free, man, which is what, as athletes, that's all
That's
you really
it.
want.
That's what you want to do.
All right.
That's all you want.
Are you ready to have some fun?
Yeah.
We got to wrap this up.
That's
we
all right.
we normally finish this 10 questions.
Mm-hmm.
I ask them, you answer them. Kenny
Okay.
judges you. Very simple.
Oh,
you have
man.
1 minute.
Kenny's judging.
Izzy's got the clock. Kenny judges
We
you.
need a board up here with
He
everybody's
guess-
scores.
Yeah.
All right, I
Dude.
got you.
Okay.
I'll get on it.
So he rates you on how quick you answer it,
Okay.
your type of answer, and then basically if you answer it the way he would answer it.
What
'cause
kind
it's
of
very
questions are
biased.
these?
Don't
Very
worry about it.
Easy
Just answer
question.
the questions.
Okay.
Easy questions. You have 1 minute, so you're gonna answer them fast.
Okay.
And ain't no messing around. Izzy, you got the clock?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Other than baseball, what's your favorite sport?
Football.
If you could only eat one thing all day, every day, what would it be?
Steak.
Most famous contact in your phone.
Troy Tulowitzki.
If you were a potato, how would you like to be cooked?
Fried, no doubt.
3 things
Has
you're
some
bringing
color.
with you on a deserted island.
Wow. Lighter. Machete. And a pot to boil water in.
Sports team you hate the most.
49ers.
Oh my god.
Favorite non-sports
dude.
movie.
Non-sports movie. Hacksaw Ridge.
Dinner with any sports star, dead or alive. Who is it with?
Derek Jeter.
If you were a stripper, what would your stripper name be?
Oh my god.
Come on, you're on the clock, dude.
I'm not answering that question, bro.
Okay. Taylor Swift or Michael Jackson?
Wow. Like concert? What are we talking about?
Pick.
I guess Taylor Swift. I don't know.
Done. Izzy, how much time did he go over?
4 minutes and 50 seconds.
4 minutes and 50. All right.
What?
129.
129.
29.
Dang, dude.
So then you're
That's-
getting how many
I got a
points
low
off of
score.
that?
I can't even
5.
give me a low score.
That's 0.7 off of your score.
You asked me. I don't.
Oh,
I don't pay.
gosh.
Honestly, dude. You asked me my favorite sports team. And I don't even watch football. And that was the first thing that came to my head. I'm looking at the football. I went, I don't even watch football,
All right,
dog.
Kenny, hit us with
That
the
was
score,
rough.
man.
I
Hit us
watched
with the
MMA
score.
and boxing. I should have said that.
You could, yeah, MMA or boxing.
I just
No.
didn't, dude. It was like I'm looking at the
He
football.
got nervous
helmets.
with
I
the
didn't get.
questions.
That's what we just. The whole thing. We just.
Yeah,
the whole podcast.
Yeah.
Well, that's what not to do,
So
ladies and
what?
gentlemen.
So what he just said, he's making it up.
Yeah, apparently.
All right, Kenny.
Apparently.
What's the score?
All right. That was bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Izzy gets to score you too.
I'm gonna go 4-1.
Yeah. I accept that.
I
Next time I get 1% better, I'm gonna get like 5.
Izzy, what would you give him? Izzy's kind of harder. Yeah, out of 10.
Solid 4.3.
Oh, so better.
Izzy, Izzy's
Yeah,
my
right.
guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Izzy.
Way better
Shout out Izzy.
Greg.
Yeah.
Greg did it.
Yeah.
But Nelly, we just
Dogged him.
we just
Yeah,
love
he
giving
was
great
horrible.
stuff.
He
No,
was
I thought it was good. All right, that's a wrap, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Appreciate you. Awesome stuff. We didn't even really get into a lot of the stuff,
I know.
but it
Maybe
was
we
good.
can do it again sometime. You
We'll
guys
do
need
it.
a guest. Yeah.
We'll do
We'll
it.
come down to Mexico and we'll do one down there.
Yeah. Be careful, man.
Yeah, shoot, if you play
You're
in
gonna-
TJ, we'll make a trip down to TJ when you go play. And then
Yeah.
That'd be
Kenny's gonna
sick.
get-
Yeah.
He's gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
Sore thumb.
All right, that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. Follow us on Instagram. Like, share, subscribe. Follow Jake on Instagram. Just Google Jake Gatewood and it'll pop up because he's the shit.
He's famous.
Appreciate you. Izzy, hit us with that theme music. Let's go. Every time.